Shmima Burke, Western News. Mr. Holohan, in your statement today, you say we have to adapt our behaviours in order to live safely with COVID-19. However, there have been serious concerns raised over the safety of hospital wards at this time, especially over the past few days. Sally Maz was a 17-year-old Leaving Cert student who died in Mayo University Hospital on the 24th of April. Her family have just released a statement around the circumstances of her death. The Maz parents state that Sally Maz was admitted to the COVID-19 hospital ward in Mayo University Hospital, although she had tested and she was admitted to the COVID-19 ward in that hospital, although she had tested negative twice for coronavirus and had multiple health conditions, including a congenital heart defect. She died just days after being admitted. Her family were not permitted to visit her over a 5-day period, and eventually when she was finally tested positive after being in that ward, her parents were rang and told that she was given a few days to live. My question to you today is, can you confirm, are hospital patients who have not tested positive for COVID-19, are they admitted to COVID-19 wards?
So I'm not going to comment on any individual case. I'm going to take the opportunity, and you're asking about a child, to say I'm not going to comment on and discuss in public.
Her parents have released a statement around the circumstances of her death.
And I don't think you will reasonably expect me to comment on any of the circumstances around it. I don't have all of the details in relation to it. This is a terrible tragedy for the family concerned. I'm not going to compound it by anything that I would say. There are clear procedures in place to try to, in the hospital system, provide adequate and appropriate protection for people, separation of people in terms of risk of COVID between areas that are involved in the care of people who are COVID positive and known to be, and areas that are not.
Can you confirm that if a patient presents to the emergency ward, which is what happened in this case, can you confirm that a patient who has not tested positive for COVID-19 will not be put into a COVID-19 ward? Can you confirm that?
What I'm explaining to you are the arrangements that are in place. It remains the possibility that even
It's a yes or no answer, Mr. Holohan.
Sorry, please don't interrupt. And I'm trying to give you a clear answer to the question. What I'm saying to you is that the arrangements that we put in place to try to separate are about minimising the risk of infection. This is a very transmissible virus. It's still possible in a situation whereby we have provisions made to try and protect and limit the spread of infection. We've separated a stream of people, both patients and staff, on the basis that it is a non-COVID designated area. We can still have infection arising in those circumstances. Do
you acknowledge that if you have a very vulnerable patient, if that patient is put into a COVID-19 ward, that ward is on the criminal?
So, no, I don't acknowledge that at all.
So it's not criminal to put a patient into a COVID-19 ward?
So you're taking circumstances from a case. I do not think it's appropriate for you to do so.
I'm asking you for the general public. I'm asking you a question for the sake of the general public. So you're advising people to present at hospitals if they have heart problems, if they have any problems. At the same time, serious concerns have been raised around patients who have been put into COVID-19 wards who have not been tested with the virus.
So what I'm saying to you is, yes, we're clearly advising people who have concerns in terms of health. We know and we have clear evidence that people who have health needs, sometimes serious emergency health needs, are staying away because of fear of infection. It is the job of the health service to ensure that you are protected in as much as you possibly can be from the spread of this infection when you attend. It is safe and appropriate to do so.
But you can't confirm.
You're taking the circumstances of a case that we don't know about, and where I'm telling you clearly, if it is a case in relation to a child, this is not an appropriate thing to be doing. And generalising from
it is very appropriate, Mr. Holohan. I'm asking you, for the sake of the general public, can you confirm to the public today? Can you confirm? And I know that the mics have been turned off. Can you confirm that a patient who is not tested positive, or in this case, someone who is tested negative perhaps multiple times, can you confirm that that patient will not be put into a COVID-19 ward?
What I can confirm is that the handling of a patient in relation to their care in an acute hospital environment will be informed by infection prevention control guidance and clinical decision making at a point in time. I cannot sit here on the basis of a specific case that you're raising with me and offer a view in relation
No, I'm
to
asking you for the sake of the general public. I'm not asking you about that case. I'm informing you about what has happened. That case is on the front page of the national newspapers. I'm asking you a separate question here. Can you confirm for the general public today, will a patient who is not tested positive for COVID-19, is there a chance that that patient could be transferred to the COVID-19 ward? You can't say yes or no. To me, that's extremely concerning, Mr. Holohan.
Yeah,
it is extremely concerning.
So you need to listen to my answer. And what I'm saying to you is that it's not policy to do that. You're asking me, can I confirm that things that I have no information on would not happen? I'm telling you what the policy is to try to ensure...
So you don't know?
But no, I'm not saying that to you. So you're putting words in my mouth, if you don't mind me saying. What I'm saying to you clearly is there is provision made. It's informed by the best available advice and guidance in terms of infection prevention and control, in terms of clinical assessment, to try to create as much in the way of separation and certainty of people who have this infection from those who don't as they go through the hospital environment. And we know from the patterns of transmission that are happening in hospitals that we're doing that successfully. Patients can be assured, and I'm concerned about the line of your questioning will give people reason to be concerned.
People are concerned, Mr. Holohan. No, people are concerned. They've come to me with their concerns. People are very concerned. And I'm asking you a very simple question today that you're not answering. You're equivocating, Mr. Holohan. You're equivocating.
I'm not equivocating. I'm saying to you clearly. I am not equivocating. I'm saying to you clearly that the arrangements that exist in relation to acute hospital care are arrangements that people can have confidence in. They will be protected.
Can I ask you a follow-on? Okay, I'm going to ask you another question because you can't answer my first question.
No, I have answered your first question.
Can you agree with me? Can you agree with me that if you have a vulnerable patient, perhaps an elderly patient, perhaps a patient with heart problems, perhaps a patient who has certain problems, will you agree with me that to put that patient into a COVID-19 ward borders on the criminal? Because you're putting that patient's life at risk. Will you agree with me on that? Will you say, yes, I agree?
What I will say to you, and I really have concerns about the way in which you're framing the questions that you're asking. I think you're not reframing these questions in a responsible manner. And the way in which you're doing so will give rise to concerns that are unfounded. What I can say to people, and this is very clearly the situation, is that the arrangements that exist in hospitals at the moment are such that you haven't... Can I just, because...
That is a serious situation. That is a very wrong thing to do. Will you agree with me on that?
So,
this is very concerning. You can't agree.
So can you...
put a very vulnerable patient in the COVID-19 ward, that scenario, that would be very wrong. Will you agree with me on that?
So it's clearly not a matter of policy, from our point of view, to have people who are placed in situations where they're at risk. Our entire strategy in terms of how we manage our hospital environment is to protect people who are vulnerable from picking up this infection, to protect people who don't have this infection from picking it up in a hospital environment. And so could I, but you haven't allowed me to give one answer without interruption. So I'm trying to answer, and if... And the reason I'll persist with this because I need you to understand that, like, the importance of being clear to the public that it is safe and appropriate for people who have health needs in the scenarios that you're describing to come to our hospital system, to trust in the services that are being provided by our hospital system, to trust in the ability of our doctors and nurses who understand infection prevention and control. Can you listen to my answer, please? I'm answering the question.
You cannot confirm. You can't even agree that would be a serious mistake and it would be a serious you put someone who is at risk.
You use words like criminality. Those are the words that you used. So I'm not going to agree with that. What I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to say, and I'm saying this to the public, and
when you say you do not agree with that, is that in the context that it wouldn't be criminal to put a vulnerable person into a COVID-19 ward?
So what I'm saying to the public, and I'm concerned, as I say, about the line of question, not because you're asking me difficult questions, but because, could you please stop interrupting? Please. I mean, I will respectfully listen to your questions if you respectfully listen to my answers. I promise you that. I promise I will listen to your questions respectfully if you listen to my answers in full respectfully. And so what I want to try to say to the public very clearly, that it is safe for people to come and attend. We know that people are staying away because of fears that are very understandable about the risk of them picking up infection when they come into a hospital environment. And that's the reason that the infection prevention measures are in place, that we have in place, that try to limit the spread of this infection as much as we can reasonably assure in these environments. We cannot guarantee that this is a very transmissible infection. It's more easily transmissible than flu. It simply isn't realistic to expect that no infection, cross-infection can occur in hospital environments. So you're interrupting me again now.
For something you say it's easier almost than the flu to transmit.
Not almost. It is easier to transmit.
Okay?
Yes.
So you submitted that to me, okay?
I've not submitted it to you. This is a fact.
So you've submitted that to me, okay? If you put someone into a ward who is vulnerable, whose health is already at risk, you put that person into a ward filled with COVID-19 patients, do you think that person has a higher risk of contracting COVID-19?
So,
And is it wrong to do that, to put someone into a COVID-19 ward who doesn't have the virus?
so clearly, as I've said to you already, the policy, which is what I can comment on, I don't know the facts of individual circumstances that you're putting to me. The policy is clearly to limit the spread of this infection by separating it as much as reasonably can happen, patients who are known to have COVID from patients who may not have COVID, and to ensure that staff are protected and that staff...
Anyone on the street, if I asked anyone on the street, they would say, yes, staff would be wrong to put an 85-year-old man into a COVID-19 ward who's already at risk, already has a number of health problems. You can't answer me yes or no to that question.
No, so I have answered your question. So it's clearly policy. It's clearly policy, and I'm saying to you, it's clearly policy that patients... Okay, she won't hear no further in this.
These people are voiceless once they're in there. They're cut off from their family.
So I'm just saying, and the final thing I'm going to say to you, and that no, I have answered your question, that is clearly a matter of policy, that people who are known to have this infection and vulnerable people are not mixed with each other. And that's not policy. And there's nothing that I've said to gives any sense of doubt in relation to that. Sorry. Thanks for your patience. Sorry.
Thank you. Mark Coughlin from Primetime.